sharing is the truth, nothing more.
Hello everyone, it's Steve with Breaking Truth News. So in this segment I'm going to teach us and some of the other people about the ideology between conservative and liberals. Political ideology consists of a set of beliefs about policies government ought to pursue. What that means is the government needs to either go left or right based on what our democracy is built on. It also creates a balance, but there's a lot of unbalance because some people lean left when they're right, some people lean right when they're left, some people don't understand either or. Now, I am not talking biasly, but I do lean a little more conservative. I do have values on the liberal side, but doesn't make people to judge because, like I said, this is not a faction war. A lot of people think nowadays it's a faction war, but it's a set of views. So we got conservatives on the right side, we'll leave that there. And we got moderate and liberal. Liberal on the left, obviously. Moderate in the middle. And moderate, we're going to use that for people that are kind of on the fence with their ideas. So I'm going to describe things and use examples to explain the best to my ability. I'm going to do other segments and show more videos on that, on how to realize these things before people end up ripping each other's skulls off and not understanding perspective. So let's start with an idea of what a lot of people argue about, and that is abortions. So liberal, we're going to make A. And A is going to be the person that is pro-choice. People that do not, I want to say not care, but they do not understand. And person B is the person that is kind of on the fence with pro-choice. They kind of understand it. They don't believe in killing them, but they are kind of confused about the situation. Where A is the person who wants to give all rights, no matter what the outcome of that abortions are okay. Now, conservative, we're going to make C, where C is the person they do not care and they're pro-life, where they are against abortions. Person D is going to be the person on the fence. And a lot of people on the conservative side, some people understand that their mom's at risk of death or the person is raped. There could be all kinds of reasons, but B and D are similar and A and C are opposite. One is pro and the other one is against. And then C is on the fence on the against, and B is on the fence with the pro. So that's kind of where it's a lot of people want to say progressive liberal or progressive conservative, and that's usually people that are kind of leaning a little bit to a little bit of other views. They're not fully on one side. Alright, so let's go back to liberal and conservatives. Now, I'm probably going to most likely do a chart. And this is a lot of times the best way to explain the things. So liberal, pro-choice. Conservative, pro-choice. Liberal against death penalty. Conservative for death penalty. Which is kind of ironic that they're opposite but for the same. And some people need to understand that it's just should be logic on some of these choices. There shouldn't be a left or a right. And that's kind of what our democracy is ripping us apart nowadays because it's being infiltrated by the elites. So liberals allow same-sex marriage. Conservatives prohibit same-sex marriage. Liberals want to legalize marijuana. Conservatives want to make it illegal. And they're kind of yin and yang. And as people concede, there are ways where you can kind of get both views on whether it's marijuana or any of the cases here. We can kind of have a common balance. Problem is, everybody wants to lean too far left or too far right. See the similarities here, though. Opposites, but similar. Which doesn't actually make sense in a way, but it does. Because it allows us to argue our debates into courts, but regular courts sometimes, whether it's the government or not. But let's go back to this. So we also have less religion in liberals schools. Conservative schools or conservative government wants to add more religion, and that's not always true. That's sometimes not true at all. So liberals want to have more higher gun regulations, which they would have the chance to just take our guns if they like. Conservatives want less gun regulations, and conservatives are aware that there are restrictions we have to make, but you cannot hold everybody accountable and take everybody to the same responsibility. It's kind of ridiculous. So if somebody was to have a knife or a gun, whatever the weapon is, you can't ban all those weapons because anybody with their logic can use those weapons for whatever they want. So it's kind of a good argument debate on either side, but that debate can go on for thousands of reasons on either or. But they're very similar but very opposite. Liberals allow flag burning as free speech, which is a fact. Conservatives prohibit. And the problem with that, it's wrong. It shouldn't matter on view. It's wrong. You know, you live in a country, we point fingers at other countries when they burn our flags or burn other countries' flags, and it's just wrong. It shouldn't matter point of view. So let's lay out some other ideas here. Big government for liberals, small government for conservatives. And liberals like higher government, as you can tell with the last administration in the U.S. and the administration we have in Canada right now. Smaller governments, they kind of cost less, which is logic in fact, and governments should be smaller as it is. We shouldn't keep asking for handouts. Here's another example. Liberals would like to have more welfare. Conservatives want less welfare. And they're not saying that they don't want to help people. They're saying that we need to get people to learn how to work and work for themselves and to not expect things given away. Some people lose their way and they never get out of it because they don't learn to try. They stay on the system. And we are running out of resources to keep doing this. More taxes for liberals, which adds to the fact of bigger government. Conservative taxes. They want a tax cut, which decreases the government. So if people don't understand that, you need to pay attention to your governments in your cities, your country, and whatever. Liberals want to increase the minimum wage. Conservatives want to lower it and eliminate minimum wage. But that's not necessarily true as well. When they're saying lower, is they don't want to hike it. Because when you hike it, food, all the prices, oil, everything goes up with it. Liberals, you increase it, they're going to increase everything else. Support workers' union and support business owners. Now, that's where capitalism comes into play, and we also have Marxism on the opposite. And see how they're similar, but they're exact same. Now, the problem with this is we need both. We need to support our businesses. We need to support our workers and our unions. So why can't we come to a common agreement, which then makes a moderate choice? You're coming to an agreement of both. Some people agree with both, some people agree with one or the other. There's a fine balance. Environmental protections, conservative, less environmental protections, and that's another problem because everybody's all for global warming, but we have not proven 100% facts, and conservatives are not dying. There's changes. They're just simply questioning where is the proof on humans or man killing this world and causing the weather problems. Which there is proof, but there's also denying proof for the other outcomes that can be causing it. Liberals have less military spending, conservatives have more. Now, in Canada, we depend on the Americans to protect our country. We do not have any defense, but that is kind of ridiculous because we cannot count on another country to defend themselves or defend ourselves. Liberals support government health care. Oh, sorry, I skipped the other one. The other one just said conservatives don't. So, yeah, oppose government health care, which they not necessarily. What they're saying is they don't want to keep prescribing meds. They don't want to keep handing out prescriptions and all these other things that are not actually giving health. It's just bandaging it. Now, here's a little poll here from 2013, if a lot of people don't. And this is the same poll from the Canadian side as well. 38% say they are conservative, 34% say they are moderate, 23% say they're liberal. Now, that was in 2013. Now, let's go back to the chart here. So our society, we need to understand that I can make another video to this, but people need. So now what I would like to add last is people need to learn to get along and accept each other's perspective, whether they like it or not, and open their mind to something much more, that there's a bigger picture out there playing with our society. The left needs the right and the right needs the left. But the problem with both of them, they need to understand you are neither better than the other. We need to come to a common goal, a common resolution. Because in the end, no matter what prime minister, no matter what president is in power, no matter what party, one party is either going to ruin something because they pass bills and laws that people don't even pay attention to because they're all paying attention to the celebrities and things that actually don't matter. Celebrities, reality, the list goes on. Pop culture, music, everything. And the left needs to learn that your ideology is causing more harm than good. And that's straight fact. And if you disagree, I'd like to challenge that. Just do some research if you disagree, because if not, I will bring the research to you. And the right needs to understand that there is some common balance. I know some of you guys can agree with what I'm saying, but I'm also trying my best to talk unbiasedly. And I'm actually fed up with both sides sometimes. The right needs to understand you are not above and beyond. Sometimes you guys are not patriotic as well. Sometimes both sides are delusional and can't see the big picture. And if people have a problem with either side, well, maybe you guys should take it to the government, the ones that are making all these rules and regulations. And we do need a government, because without it, it is anarchy. The problem with too much big government is you got everybody trying to get them to police the country, and then the other side doesn't want to police the country. So there's got to be a common balance. You got to have some kind of balance. And yeah, I'm going to be making more videos like this. I'm going to be doing a lot more deeper stuff. I'm going to have some live chats and live feeds. So yeah, I'd just like to give a little bit perspective on that. And I really hope that some people can see the ideology behind either or. And this is the reason why I love Morpheus's choice on the left or the right, the blue pill or the red. It is a perfect example on how our society is run. Now, put it in realistic, I'm not saying the red is good or conservative is good and liberals are bad. But what I'm saying is the option to wake up is always there. The people that are sleeping are the ones that are running back and forth, looking for spoon-fed like a bunch of spoiled brats. And that's why people need to wake up. Society's out of control, it's out of hand, and everybody knows it. So no matter if you're left or right, we need to get our shit together and come to some kind of common goal. Whatever your perspective is, learn to agree to disagree, open dialogue, and share information instead of throwing down each other's face that, oh, your information is false. Alright, well, back for more videos. Subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.